Our guest today is a working class hero, Christian Smalls, the founder and president of the Amazon Labor Union, who scored a huge victory this past April 1st when workers in Amazon's JFK 8 warehouse in Staten Island voted to unionize with representation by the ALU. He has previously been fired by Amazon for blowing the whistle on unsafe working conditions and poor treatment of workers at the warehouse. Christian, welcome back to the program.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
So I just want to let people know, so that was a big deal. Amazon workers on Staten Island vote to unionize, a landmark win for labor. And I just want to ask you, Christian, what was it like organizing? Because we hear people talk a lot who call themselves Democrats or liberals or lefties or pro-worker. We heard people talk about organizing along class lines. Now, what does that mean to you, and is that what you did?
Yeah, we didn't just talk about it. Jimmy, you've been covering me since I was terminated, and you've seen sort of the transition of how I've continued to persevere and advocate for workers' rights for almost 2 years, over 2 years now. So I didn't just talk about it. I went on the ground and I actually got my hands dirty, and I stayed outside of an Amazon facility for 11 months. And the workers saw that. Workers saw me out there every single day in, day out, rain or shine, just continuing to advocate and build relationships and earn the trust until, we were able to become successfully the first union in American history.
And so talk about the coalition of workers that you put together, and what kind of people make up your coalition?
These are former and current Amazon workers. Most of them are still currently working there. Some are, unfortunately, they were terminated as well, or they no longer work for the company, but they also continue to advocate along with me. Some actually were even directly underneath me when I was a supervisor there. So there's, my vice president, Derek Palmer, who's been around since day one, Jason Anthony. He used to be underneath me day one. Gerald Bryson, who, breaking news, guess what? He just got reinstated as of today.
Oh, fantastic.
So 10J has been uplifted. I believe a judge just approved that he'll have his job back. So that's 2 years back pay going back to him. And he's supposed to be reinstated within 2 weeks. So that's great news for the labor movement and for Amazon workers. He was with me. He was underneath me as well. And Jordan Flowers, still day one. And everybody else that joined us in our 2-year journey. There's so many amazing people. I can't name all of them, but I can tell you that they uprooted their lives. They changed their whole lives for this movement. And they moved to Staten Island. Not really, I'm sure about what we was going to do. But we moved everybody to Staten Island, and we all came together and said, this is where it has to happen. At JFK in Staten Island, we were able to do so.
And so now, what was your pitch to the workers to get them to join the union? Because not everybody did. A lot of people voted against it. So what were the hurdles you had to get over in their mentality to get them to go along with your union?
Well, the fact that we are Amazon workers, we know the ins and outs of the company. We know the grievances. We live them. We live the reality of our situation in our community. We didn't really have to pitch too much because it was the fact that we are actually living in the same type of predicament that they are. We traveled the commutes 2.5 hours, 3 hours each way. We dealt with the TOT system, the unpaid time system. We dealt with the system that Amazon created. And we can relate to the language. We can relate to the grievances, as I mentioned. And I think what we're pitching is that we want change for our own selves, for our working environment, for our working conditions. Amazon is ran off a system of metrics and numbers. The union was about compassion. It still is about compassion and caring about one another. We did things that were unprecedented, not traditional. We took care of one another. We showed the workers what it is to stand up and be encouraged to do that. And also just, once again, earning the trust, having several conversations, being consistent, not just having a bunch of lip service or, having a third party or an established union that we have to educate about Amazon. We are the actual workers. We know the problems, and I think that resonated more so.
Did you experience workers who normally would have differences politically, putting those political differences aside and coming together around your union?
Absolutely. You know, Staten Island, if people don't know, is Trump Island. You know, it's not democratic at all, and we couldn't tie ourselves to political candidates. Even though individually I may do so from time to time, endorse certain folks. The union itself, ALU, doesn't endorse politicians. We don't pick sides. We don't care whether you left, right, up, down, middle, red, green, blue, yellow. It doesn't matter. We want to represent all workers. At the end of the day, everybody's a worker. You know, it's not about political views, and we can't, you know, pick and choose who we want to organize with. We want to include everybody. So
what you're saying is, if you're an Amazon worker, it doesn't matter if you're a communist, a socialist, a Democrat, a libertarian, a gun nut, or a Trumper. You all are experiencing the same kind of oppression from the same oligarchy, and so you all have common needs, and you come around. You can coalesce along common ideas. That's what you're saying.
That's what solidarity is. You know, people scream solidarity, but don't know what it is. You know, they pick and choose when they want to use it. You know, if you're talking about solidarity, you gotta find a commonality. You gotta build up the commonality, and the commonality for Amazon workers is the working conditions, the environment, the culture. And what we do with ALU is we created a culture that resonates with the mass and the majority, and that's how you form a union, and that's what a union should represent. You're talking about unity. You talk about bringing people together. Once again, we build off the commonality of what the issues are, so we don't fall into the rabbit hole of, oh, because you're left or right, we don't want to organize with you.
So, so that your JFK 8, this the fulfillment center you organized is in Staten Island, like you said. So there's going to be a lot of Trumpers who work there. And so they're now in your union. And you caught a lot of flack because you went on Tucker Carlson and to help spread your message. You know, workers come in all stripes, and you representing a class of people. You're not representing political ideologies. You're representing a class of people. So you went on Tucker Carlson, and you did it. You did a really great job. I think you did a great job. And everybody has their own agenda. Your agenda was to get your message out, and I think you did. And so let me just play. It's very brief. It's only about 2.5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. So I'm going to play it. And then I just want, so people have a context of what we're talking about. So let me just play it.
So were you surprised that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has said repeatedly that she's on the side of the worker against the corporation, wasn't standing with you at the barricades?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it wasn't just her. It was all of them pretty much. You know, it's not
fair.
You know, I don't want to make it just between us and AOC because, you know, a lot of them didn't show up. And, you know, once again, we have no ill will against them. We know that whether they showed up or not, they didn't make or break our election. We just had to continue to organize.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a weird moment because, I mean, I'm on the right. I've never been particularly pro-union, but it does seem like Amazon needs some counterbalance. Like, it's this huge company. The workers have no power, and maybe we could, I don't know, share a little power with people who work there. So that's my view anyway. So tell us where you are in your organizing efforts.
Well, right now, you know, we're fighting for a contract. You know, Amazon's disputing the election results. So we're in walking and chewing bubble gum at the same time. We're fighting for a contract. We're preparing for another election in 2 weeks on April 25th. We're going to be voting at a second location directly across the building that we just unionized. So we're in the thick of a fight right now, you know, a legal battle. And, you know, we just have to stay grounded and pretty much begin our campaign all over again.
I mean, you'd think that Amazon would be open to a union, wouldn't you? That Amazon would be open to a union, wouldn't you? It's a very progressive company. Why do you think they're trying to thwart you from organizing?
Amazon hasn't been unionized in this country since the beginning of its existence, and they're very anti-union. You know, they created a system that hires and fires people. They created a system that they have full control of the working people, and you know, having a union obviously brings representation for the workers that'll benefit the workers at the bottom, like myself. Hourly associates, entry-level workers that don't get the right to negotiate. So forming a union gives us the right to collective bargain with the company, form a contract to protect ourselves. So that's exactly what we're trying to do with the Amazon Labor Union. We're hoping that we'll be a catalyst for something that'll take place nationwide.
Well, I certainly am rooting for you. I mean, maybe if they throw some more woke slogans at you, you'll forget you can't feed your family.
Right.
Christian, I appreciate your coming on. Thank you very much.
So that was the entire interview, and it was fantastic. And I think that, you know, I saw an article that more Democrats watch Tucker Carlson than watch MSNBC. So you're reaching a big, broad. You're not just reaching right wingers or Republicans. You're also reaching Democrats, centrists, and you caught a lot of heat for going on Tucker Carlson. And I just wanted to show two examples, and then you can respond to it. This is from someone from Media Matters. Now, Media Matters normally focuses on clipping videos of right-wing people and showing how horrible they feel they are. And so they thought it was wrong for you to go on. They said Tucker Carlson is a hateful bigot, and he uses his program every night to spread his hateful bigotry. Someone like Smalls appearing on his show only gives Tucker credibility he doesn't deserve. And then one more. There's a necessary conversation to be had about why so many pro-labor electeds kept their distance from JFK 8 fight. But Tucker Carlson's investment in that debate is only to weaken, divide, and confuse. Don't play his game. So what do you say to that, Chris?
It's just ridiculous. You know, first of all, I stay out of Twitter. You know, I tweet and I go about my business. That's what most people should do. But I guess people have nothing else better to do than have Twitter fingers all day. But that's not what organizing is. You know,
No.
Not social media and not tweeting. You know, I stand in solidarity with somebody and not doing anything. You know, it doesn't matter what show I go on. I'm going to have slack for going on the show with you tonight.
That's right.
It's like people don't understand. It doesn't matter who I talk to. It doesn't matter what show I'm on. Somebody always got something to say, and that's just what I learned in my short 2 years of organizing in the labor movement. It doesn't. I'm damned if I do. I'm damned if I don't. So it doesn't matter if I go on your show. It doesn't matter if I go on MSNBC. Doesn't matter if I go on CNN, Fox. To me, I'm going on Fox, but everybody focuses on the person I'm interviewing with, and that's ridiculous. Forget about what I'm talking about. They worried about Tucker Carlson. I don't give a damn about Tucker Carlson. I never met the man. Never watched his show. I didn't even watch the interview until now. So that just tells you how much I don't care. And the only thing I care about is the workers. And I'm hoping that people understand that. It's like, you know, it's about the message, it's about what I'm talking about. It's not about who I'm interviewing with. And if I have the availability to get on somebody's show that has a big platform, I'm going to do it because it's about reaching the mass, like you mentioned. And that's what people don't understand.
So let me ask. So let me just. Of course, I'm being facetious, but when you're organizing a union at Amazon that has all stripes of colors of people and from all different political persuasions, is it helpful to your organizing effort to call half the people at that place racists and bigots? Is that helpful?
Absolutely. I mean, no. I mean, of
No.
course. Is that, you know, because I done 1,001 interviews with many people, and the one interview everybody's having a Twitter war about is Tucker Carlson. Really, it's like, come on now. If you go back from the beginning of when I got fired, I done been on plenty of people's shows, including yours, and it doesn't matter. You know, people always got something to say. But I don't care about that. I don't care about social media. I'm doing the work on the ground every day. You know, that's what's important. It's the workers that are actually affected by how we're organizing and what we're doing. So as long as they are okay with it, I'm okay with doing what I need to do.
Okay. what's funny is that you didn't. You kept your eye on the ball about what's happening, getting your message out about workers and not making it about personalities, which was very smart of you and very deft of you to do that. And the irony is the people who were criticizing you were doing that. They were actually, quote unquote, taking the bait and making it about personalities instead of about the issues. And so that's why those people have never done anything in their life that even comes close to what you've already accomplished, which is the biggest momentous thing that happened for union organizing in a generation at least. So you're out there getting it done, and people are, of course, telling you where you could do it better. People who've never done anything. And what you've tweeted out was, you're focused on me, I'm focused on we. And that was a perfect comeback. Now, I just have a few questions for you. In the New York Times article about your victory, they say the near-term question facing the labor movement and other progressive groups is the extent to which they will help the upstart Amazon labor union withstand potential challenges to the result and negotiate a first contract, such as by providing resources and legal talent. Now, is any of that happening? Has the other labor organizations stepped up to help?
Yeah, of course. Now that we won, everybody and the mother is reached out. Cool. This is what we want. We wanted to shake the labor movement up, shake up the, politicians as well to get their support. And it's never too late to get involved. And that goes for everybody who didn't show up in the beginning. But we just have to make sure that they have the workers' interests. And that's my job as the interim president, is to make sure that whoever wants to get involved, they absolutely can. But they can't just get involved for a week or two. They got to make sure they're here for the long haul, especially the New York progressives and the New York elected officials, the unions, established unions. If you're going to get involved with Amazon workers or the AOU in any capacity, we want to make sure that you are here for these workers on the day-to-day. And you're putting something on paper, better laws, better bills that are going to help us organize and help the workers get protections.
So I remember not too long ago, I was on Twitter and I saw someone tweet out, they said something like, hey, what are we supposed to do when Trumpers want to join our union? And someone responded, you declare victory. That's what you do. You declare victory. So that's when you have the power, when you have people from all sides of the political spectrum coming together. They can dismiss you if it's just a bunch of progressives or a bunch of libertarians or a bunch of Greens or a bunch of social. If there's just a group, a small group, the bigger the group, the less they can dismiss you. And I think that's a great lesson to take. I have one more video I'd like to show you. This is Jim Cramer on CNBC, and this was his assessment of the problems at Amazon, or the problem of the union at Amazon. And I'd just like to get your response.
Well, we know that the union work rules are what everything is about. It's the same case with Starbucks, too. If you can't tell your employees when they work, then you're really not able to have much of an ability to be able to move product or move coffee. And I think that the unions will be in charge of time that you need to work. And that would be dreadful very dreadful for Andy Jassy.
So we were able to hear that? He's saying this is all about unions controlling the time clock and when people are going to work and when they're not. And if the company cannot control when workers work, that's dreadful for them. What do you say to that?
That was funny as hell. So he's saying basically they're going to lose a bunch of money. That's what they're complaining about, is losing a bunch of billions and millions of dollars that they don't really need anyway. I don't care. We're going to control people's, working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Yes, we want them to have a family and family time. So if he's mad about that, oh, well, I don't give a damn. Because, yes, we do work 40 to 60 hours a week, and we work 10 to 12 hours a day with a 30-minute lunch. And I don't think they relate to what our lifestyles are. So if we want better, and that's exactly what the union is going to do, I'm all for it. I can care less about what some rich, people are discussing.
Okay, so your next election is on the 25th of April. And what is that?
Yep.
What is that about?
This is our second election in Staten Island. It's LDJ 5. It's a sortation center right across the street from JFK. It's about 1,600 workers. Yeah, we are in the heat of that. We got organizers out there daily, just organizing inside and outside. And we're hoping to be successful. This will also be a historical moment for the movement and for the ALU.
Well, Chris, I just can't tell you, how much it means to everybody, what you're doing, and you're setting an example. You're not tweeting, you're not Facebooking, you're actually getting your boots on the ground and organizing people and getting it done. You're doing it much better than the politicians. You're embarrassing the politicians like you should be, and it's not that hard, and but you're doing it. So I just want to say thanks, and please keep us abreast of whatever you're doing, and anything you need amplification on, just let us know, and we'd be glad to have you back on. Any last words you want to tell everybody?
Oh, yeah. Thank you once again for bringing me on. And yes, continue to support us. We're graduates at AmazonLaborUnion.org, at Amazon Labor on Twitter. Follow us and stay supportive. We appreciate it.
Okay. Christian Smalls, getting it done. Thanks for everything. And we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right. Take care.
We're doing live stand-up shows in Cleveland, Columbus, Pittsburgh, Des Moines, Omaha, Kansas City, Las Vegas, all over the country. Go to JimmyDoreComedy.com for a link for tickets. And single tickets now available at all venues. So if you tried to buy one before and you couldn't, single tickets are now available. Plus, while you're at JimmyDoreComedy.com, why don't you become a premium member? Sign up to our mailing list so when they cancel us, we can still stay in touch.